So this is what I was thinking. We would open up with me saying, he's still alive. And then I would be stabbing somebody with my tattoo machine. And then I would say, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a tattoo fella.
Mike Perfetto, just a pure-hearted tattoo artist with no ulterior motive. You just know this guy's the real deal.
Yo, what up? Pull it over. How are you?
Dude's the king of New York as far as I'm concerned.
Oh.
Best in Brooklyn, for real, Mike.
People seek him out because it's a family thing. You have your family doctor, he's your family tattooer, you know?
So you tattoo these guys' fathers as well?
Yeah, this is 3 generations in.
A lot of the first wave of that New York City traditional tattooery, you know, they just did pretty much flash. Mike was doing flash, but it would just be much more artistic. It had some sort of different flair.
It's Mikey's Brooklynese style.
I mean, I can go from dragon to an eggplant Parmesan sandwich.
He does every style of tattooing.
It'd be like, you know, black and gray, color, bold, fine line, portrait. Like, it was just all day long, you know, with ease.
That's why he's a little crazy. You know, I don't know when the man sleeps, honestly.
Show him Thurman Munson. 48 minutes from hi to goodbye.
There's a one-man show. Everything that works there, it revolves around him and the customer's experience.
When you leave Mikey, I think you feel the same way I feel about him. You're like, that guy's great.
When they made him, they broke the mold. Actually, it was just handcrafted by God.
We got you. Somewhere along the line, I get the last laugh, let's face it. If I tattoo you, I put you in pain, then you pay me, right? See, years ago when I used to make my own needles, it was like really a fine-honed craft that every little aspect mattered. Now it's just like they're made of like clay or something. Maybe they're made of clay, I don't know. No way. What up, Max? All right, good.
Richardson should spice up the joint.
What is it?
Our stripper looked lonely, so I brought her a hula girl.
Oh, nice. When did I start tattooing it?
September 1985.
Yeah.
I was, what, 14? Good, you want to see my favorite? All right.
Did I freehand that? No, the face
Yeah.
I used. Wow. I must have liked you.
Nobody else liked me.
It's a short menu, right?
Yeah, very short list. I didn't know any tattoo parlors. There was none in Greenpoint, none in Williamsburg. Even the undergrounds weren't there. There was nobody up there tattooing.
Yeah.
When I met that kid in jail, he told me about Mikey. Gave it a shot, came down, that was it. Mikey's got a magic pen you wouldn't believe. You'll see, if you go look on the wall, you'll see this Medusa's head, and you'll see everything else he did was freehand with a big pen. Incredible. And let me tell you, he was a machine back in the late 80s. I'd get here at 10 o'clock in the morning, he opened at 5. And by the time he opened up, there was like 15 people online. And he tattooed everybody. It was a machine, man. Everybody, 15, 20 people a night.
Ready to do this, Max? I am like a shark. If I stop moving, my guts come out of my mouth. So I gotta keep moving. Okay.
When I moved to New York, tattooing was illegal, so everything was underground. Most of my friends were getting tattooed by Mikey Perfetto. His work was super clean and he could do it fast. You know, the price wasn't insane.
They're a tattoo artist, and God bless them. They tattoo one celebrity, and all of a sudden, it's a couple $100 to get tattooed for them per hour, you know? It's like, I don't even open up a pack of needles for less than $1,200. Now, and some people actually used to put on their card, Tattoo Artist of the Stars. And I tell you honestly, at one point in my career, I wanted to put on my card, Tattoo Artist of the Blue-Collar Worker. Because who gets the preponderance of work? It's the blue-collar guy. Yeah. And that's that. In Bensonhurst, I happen to be surrounded by the cluster of people who do get tattoos. I mean, it was solid Italian made, but then a lot of Italian people get tattoos. You know, especially they want one just like their cousin Vinny or whatever it may be, you know.
When you walk into Mike's, it's that cavern. I mean, it's a tattoo shop. It definitely gives you that scared feeling that made your hair stand up on your arms when you went in there, like, because you just feel like you're back in old New York.
I think going to get tattooed by Perfetto is probably one of the coolest tattoo experiences I've ever got to experience for myself.
What's happening, Neil?
No. Same shit, bro. Just another day.
He's got that real knock-around clientele, and they break his chops, and he's super patient with them.
Why don't you brag about your Monica sweetheart?
Oh, there she is.
My favorite porn star, and he ruins it on it.
Yeah, but you came here, what, Saturday in August?
You almost nothing like her.
I mean, you see lots of stuff going on in Mike's lobby, you know, like, and there's a whole room full of people. Mike could be doing these tattoos, and like the TV would be loud, and some guy would have a boombox playing. It was like that every time.
Makes his own moonshine.
Yes, that's watermelon, actually.
Really?
Wow.
Ooh. You want to show off some of your flash?
Yeah, definitely. This here is a demon done roughly about 25 years ago from Mikey. This is fairly new, Linda Blair. I get stopped all the time. People tell me, oh, you had to go to Mikey. And I'm like, how do you know? They're like, I know his lines. For me, there ain't nobody better than him.
Hey, if it isn't Vinny the Mortician. Oh, this is 2 macabre people in a row. This is crazy. What's the odds of this? Did you peel off and show them some of your cool tattoos?
No.
Why? There.
If you were from South Queens, you went to Peachy Quinto. South Brooklyn, you went to Tony or Mike Perfetto or whoever you went to, but it was definitely very regional. And in New York City, you could have 600 families living on one block. So you have all these people, you become like a little bit of mayor of that. And I think Mike's done that more than anybody, just from tattooed so many people.
All my work is from him.
Same signature look.
Everybody has to get a tattoo. You have to. You can't pass them up, you know?
And then when you go to someone else and they screw up, you go back to
Yes,
him
and he
to
fixes
fix.
it.
You guys ready? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't have an opening theme like the Mr. Softy trucks, but...
I mean, I think Mike sits, I place him a little more in the old school. I don't mean like, let's make an appointment to do this panther for, exuberant amount of money. I'm gonna make it look a certain way to look old. It's like, this is how I can make it look the most like a panther, but hold up for 50 years. Like, to me, that's when I think of Mike Perfetto, that's the Perfetto I'd like to emulate.
This is where I grew up, right in this spot. Yeah, this is where I did my first tattoo ever. So I started tattooing all of my friends right in that spot. And this is where I sat, right here, with the ankles in my hand poking, or actually some of them were brave enough to get it on their arm, and I did them there. I was always interested in tattoos. My father asked me one day, what do you want to be when you finally snap out of that cloud that you're in, I says, I want to be a tattoo artist. So we took a ride up to Spalding and Rogers. Huck Spalding started explaining everything. You got your 45-minute course. He opened up the box, he handed me the machines. He says, you're probably gonna have a lot of questions. Do you know anybody? I said, yeah, Coney Island Freddy's my uncle. He says, yeah, I think you should really work under his tutelage because this isn't as easy as it may seem. This whole building complex, that is where Freddy's shop used to be, right in the front of it. Tattooing became illegal in *61. Everybody moved away, and my uncle stuck to his guns and tattooed for years and years. He was Coney Island Freddy, and nobody was running him out, as far as he was concerned. That's the kind of thick-headed guy he was. And this is Stillwell Avenue. Coney Island was like the place to go, and this is where all the tattoo shops were. This was the Mecca, and the fact of the matter is the same way I guess you would get a hot dog from Nathan's, you would just get a tattoo while you're here. It was just like any other collector's item. And then there was that little cubby hole right next to Nathan's. That's where Max Peltz worked, and Blackie had a year-round shop here. Blackie could have stayed busy 24 hours a day. He could have been open 24 hours a day throughout the whole season.
Brooklyn Blackie was a Coney Island tattooer in the 50s and 60s on Coney Island Boardwalk. Coney Island then was kind of like one of the most famous zones for tattooing.
If you look, there goes our beloved Coney Island face, the one that everybody gets tattooed on them. Every single generation was just tattoo after tattoo after tattoo. You could just see where it went throughout the ages in Coney Island alone. The guys loaded with Charlie Wagner, Blackie, Max Peltz, Coney Island Freddy, of course.
No, you are. We're all famous. Everybody's famous.
I feel like when you talk about tattooing in New York, I think the first people that I think of is Tony Polito, Mike Perfetto.
Tony Polito is still the best tattoo artist in the world. And I mean by speed, accuracy, durability of colors, patience, the kind of people that he worked on, and the quality of work that he put out under those circumstances. Tony was the yardstick in which to measure your own work.
Like, he definitely had that Polito influence where line to line, everything was colored, everything was solid. I mean, I think Tony was undoubtedly the king of New York tattooing, and I think that once he retired, like, he certainly passed the crown to Perfetto.
It was 11 years ago, yeah?
It was 11 years.
You know, I tell you honestly,
maybe 10 years.
Being in the same place for so long, I really have no conception of time. I honestly don't. What was it? How long ago was it? I said, oh, how old are you now, Bert? 22? And he's like, how can I be 22? You tattooed me like 11 years ago. I'm like, what?
I feel like in Mike, it's a lot of similar vibes to the people I was tattooing in Queens, except they're just Brooklyn heads and a lot of neighborhood people who are just so lucky that they happen to grow up in a neighborhood that has tattooing by Michelangelo.
Hi, pal. He's Anthony the Butcher from down the block. He knew me since the day I was born. He was able to literally carry a half a cow, right, Anthony? Over his shoulder. A quarter, a half, a quarter. What's a quarter of a cow to friends? He was loaded with Blackie's tattoos, and he made me cover them. In fact, his was some of the first tattoos I ever recognized as tattoos.
Oh, really?
That's a cover redo.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Yeah, and I redid them.
They were all faded.
You know what, Anthony? I know you got an excellent memory. Who were the tattoo guys in Coney Island? Who was considered the best at the time?
Blackie was always the best. One I matched was good. He was always drunk. Well, a guy from Bath Avenue went, and he told him the tattoo that he wanted, and he put a gun to his head. He says, you do it right, otherwise I'll blow your brains out.
Bing,
he
pow.
hit the up.
Anthony, you got a great collection.
Come on, peel off.
Every time I've ever been here, the best people just stop in. I'm telling you, I've never been here once and not like met somebody like Anthony here.
He's a trip, ain't he?
That's amazing. Oh yeah, look at that. This one's good.
Yeah, what else you got, Anthony?
This is the creation of Adam. Rock of Ages.
These are collector's items, you know?
Big Vinny the Guinea?
Yeah.
Born to Break Balls is amazing. Yeah, that might be one of the best tattoos I've ever seen either. Holy.
Yo, what up? Pull it over. There's another Goomba. I tattooed his father, actually, and then him. It's a generational thing. What up?
What's up, Mike?
How are you?
What you doing?
What did I tattoo on you?
Wow, you did my whole body. Yeah, you did all
No,
this.
I didn't. I didn't do that.
You did that.
I didn't do that.
Mike, you did that. You did my whole back, look.
Oh, really?
Sick work, man. Mike's the best. Best in Brooklyn. For real, Mike.
No, somebody did that.
You did my whole back, Mike.
I did?
You did. You did my whole back, yeah.
Was I as high as you then? I don't remember. I didn't like getting high when I tattooed.
Yeah.
No, because it threw me off.
Yeah, oh yeah, you got higher when you're done with work.
Oh, very high. Yeah. This is L'Amour's, the rock club. All of the people from this club were like, oh, man, there's a tattoo shop right over there. So once you got primed up here, then you went right to me.
Mikey was the go-to tattooer in New York, hardcore scene at the time.
It was like during the glamour rock era where it had every subspecies of different groups. There was the skinheads, there were rockers, there was a couple of Guidos in there.
A lot of those hardcore kids had like a lot of like demon-y looking things on them, you know, a lot of gray smoke around it.
Everybody called him Mikey in Brooklyn. Yeah, he tattooed me.
You scraped up $30, you went to Mikey, you got tattooed, you know, you walked around, hard as nails, showing it off.
Their priority was getting high, getting drunk, and then whatever I have left over, I'll spend for a tattoo.
Mikey changed up a lot of his stuff, and he had a lot of the demons and ripped out skin and, you know, all that evil kind of stuff. The opportunity was there, so he adapted.
Were there other tattoo artists in this neighborhood besides you?
No, actually, I kind of cleaned a couple of people out.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because I felt that there was no reason for them to open up down the block from me.
So how did you clean them out? You just like...
I spoke softly and carried a big stick.
No, really?
Yeah, really. I mean, I may be a clown, but the fact of the matter is if you mess with my business, then there's a problem. No, so I told him, you know, you can't, you know, why would you pick here? You should go somewhere else because this is my area. And first of all, it wasn't even legal. So if it wasn't legal, it was might by, you know, it was right by might.
He doesn't have the type of personality that you think, like this hard Brooklyn tattoo. Like, he doesn't come off like that at all. He's just mad fun to be around, you know? But he might could kick your ass. The dude's a badass.
You were learning Kung Fu. Did it come in handy?
Oh, yeah, a few times. One guy came in and he took me away from my workstation, figuring if I had any weapons, they would be over there. And he was like, he pulls out a gun and he's like, give me your money. So I look around like people are panicking. All of a sudden I see his hand cocked back and I grab him by his throat and I smacked him against the wall. His friend comes running over and he comes and he sticks a gun to my head and I just blocked it with my arm and I grabbed him by his pec muscle and I just twisted it upside down. And then his friend came running in and he put a gun right in that hollow part of my throat and I was like, well, I'm fresh out of hands and yeah, I guess it's time to give it up. That's what happens sometimes. Yeah, you see, I'm not a troublemaker, I'm just a clown.
So you seem like a very nice guy. Was there a point that things changed in your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, it happened on the 4th of July in 1986. I was smoking weed, I was snorting cocaine, I was eating mescaline like 3 times a week, and every once in a while I would smoke opium and hash. I was getting very dangerous, and all I know is that on the 4th of July, I almost killed somebody in cold blood for blowing off a firecracker. And then I realized that I am really the black sheep of my family. I just almost killed a fellow human being for something that frivolous, and I said there's something seriously wrong with me. So right then and there, God just smacked me upside the head and gave me an epiphany. When I got home, I fell on my knees and I started to pray. And you know, the God's honest truth is I went to sleep at 1 in the afternoon. I got up at 5 in the afternoon and I never got high again. Well, all things considered, I wish I had time to really do a nice one for you. Maybe next time, right? Yeah. Military dictatorship tattoo shop. Years ago when I heard that Charlie Wagner would dictate what people would get, I thought it was preposterous. I says, well, how could you tell people what to get? But if you gotta figure, if there's only a small handful of people tattooing, and he just felt like doing, you know, sales ships that day, you got a sales ship. If you already have a sales ship, you're just getting another one, or you're not getting tattooed that day. Maybe tomorrow you'll get your mom and dad, you know?
Mikey, I think he might have been the first tattooer that I ever met that was actually friendly. Because most tattooers are like, what do you want? Most of them are the only game in town, so they could be as rude and abrasive if they wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody thought that that was unusual.
Bob, what made you decide to get tattooed by Perfetto? Of all people.
I liked him. He's one of the few people I've ever met in my life that I felt really comfortable with, and I wanted a New York tattoo.
What's happening?
What's up?
We're gonna find out in a minute. What is your name? What's her name?
Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn. Oh, that one. Oh. You can read my palm today?
Yes, I am.
Both or just one? When I deal with somebody, whether they're 18 years old, whether 88 years old, if we make a connection, we have a bunch of laughs together, you're equally my friend. I don't care how old you are. And lots of them say, hey, you know why? I got interested in tattooing because
a view. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You know, it never passed my mind.
You're very pretty. You're making me shake.
Oh,
I'm very shy.
so sorry. Oh. I'm seeing a lot of stress. I'm seeing you love to help everybody. You're always a shoulder to cry on, but it seems like when you need somebody to be there, there's not really anybody around for you.
You said a mouthful. We're doing here one of these.
So you tattoo these guys' fathers as well?
Yeah, some of their yeah, everybody. This is 3 generations in.
All of my tattoos are from Mike, except this one. He did the top, but not the bottom. Every other tattoo, though, was from Mike. From Mike.
How's that?
That's good.
You want to check that out in the mirror?
I can see it from there. That's good.
He was always the best kept secret, but he shouldn't have been a secret. I think it's awesome that he's out there for everybody to, more people should know about Mike.
Okay. It hurts, but not what I thought it was going to be.
I'm disappointed I could press harder.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
I don't see anybody ever running a tattoo shop like that again. Like anybody ever being able, that's the last of its kind. You know, and that's true New York City.
All the changes and everything in the tattoo world, I think there's some things you could rely on, and that's gonna be like Mikey's gonna be there. He's gonna be like the cockroaches after the nuclear holocaust. He's still gonna be there. And that's something you can count on about New York tattooing.
Get out of here.
Come on, man. You did it. Clean it.
I did this. This is what I did, right
So you
here.
didn't do all this?
Yeah, I did, but
Okay.
here. It's all yours.
All right.
Man, I already did my duty. Gave you a tattoo. Oh, what is this? All of a sudden it's rush hour.
As much as I love this job, I would not really want to be one of those people that, I hate to put it this way, but died in the shop. Although, realistically, if I did retire, I'm going to be visiting these guys anyway. I mean, all my friends are tattooers. So one way or other, I'm going to be at a tattoo shop.
Back at the tattoo.
Yeah.